right now, this is a laughable argument right now that the president said. He said when he passed that stimulus bill, unemployment would not go above 8%. We're touching on 10 now. And now we get, because it's failed so horrifically, the deficit has gone through the roof. The debt has gone through the roof. And only a year and a half, this president has spent more than George Washington to George Bush combined. It's unheard of. We've never seen anything like this before. And now because and now because it's all failing, we get the argument of, well, I'm sure it would have been worse. How can it be worse? When I moved into my home, we bought right before the bubble burst, by the way. I won't even go into that. But I'm never leaving. When we bought our home, our head guy for Pulte Homes, he was the big cheese out there. He delivered me a Domino's pizza the other night. Don't tell me it worked. People are dying right now. We have 60, 65-year-old people working in Subway to try to make ends meet right now. The unemployment for the 18 to 25 age bracket is through the roof. It's over 25% because as everyone gets laid off that has work experience, they're moving down in jobs. We are going the wrong direction, and we're going the wrong direction quickly. And what's Gabrielle Giffords' solution? She wants to raise taxes on small business. That's Gabrielle Giffords' solution. Oh, by the way, if you happen to sell your home, there will be a 3.6% tax that comes with that as well. Taxing every single dime you have. That's their solution. That's no solution. There is no government solution. We are going page by page through a playbook on how to get from a recession to a depression, and we're going through there at a rapid rate. We better stop and change course now. Now. Sir?
One thing I haven't heard one thing said about the war.
Yes.
9 years in Afghanistan, 7 years in Iraq, we have won nothing.
Yes.
They're going to pull troops back and put 100,000 more in Afghanistan. We spent over $1 trillion there. What's wrong with that?
Well, we did win in Iraq. We won. All combat troops are
I
out.
wouldn't
And
say
we're
we
starting
won,
to
there's
receive help.
50,000 there yet.
Well, I would say that the 27 million people there who are not going to go to a torture chamber tomorrow would say that we won. And in Afghanistan, let's not lose sight of the fact that 3,000 Americans were murdered by an attack that was planned and implemented from there. And just because these politicians want to control the war instead of letting the general win it the way he could and already would have, let's not indict the whole thing. Are we spending too much money there? Yeah, and we've been there way too long. But we send our people, our brave young men and women over there, we tie their hands behind their back, and then we kick them to the curb. You can't fire until fired upon, you can't engage at night. This is not midget football, this is war. Win, give them the freedom to win. That's what we should already beat home. Finish it, and finish it now. Pakistan is nuclear, and they are right next door, and they are a disaster. And the Taliban will take over again instantly. And that man who just parked a truck full of explosives in Times Square was not Al-Qaeda, he was Taliban trained. They are terrorists, and we better understand, we better get them. But I will definitely agree with you, we've spent way too much money. We've been there way too long. And right now we see Vietnam, with the politicians controlling the war. And we have the best troops in the world. Amazing generals, the best equipment in the world. And that's not just bluster. I was Marine Corps infantry. I've trained with all kinds of people. We are the best, and I mean very, very good. When you hear about these things this country or that country, these troops are great at this and these troops are great at that, our guys are amazing. And they are amazing. We have everything we need to win it now. What do we have? We have a president that stands in front of West Point and uses the word I 43 times and doesn't say win or victory once. And gives the enemy a deadline for when you're leaving. Never heard of anything like this before.
Jesse, you know what's really sorry is when you go up to the gates of West Point, any time of day now, you're met with a SWAT team who will not allow you to be on the reservation unless you go to a tour. This should never happen. You know, since 9/11, everything has changed.
It has?
People have never been to West Point. They're missing one of the biggest things there is in their life.
Yes, sir.
It's a gorgeous place.
You know, and we had that terrorist in Texas shoot up the place, would have killed 14, 15 people, something like that. It's an uncomfortable fact, but it is a fact that we are at war. There is a portion of this world's population, they are more dedicated than any enemy we have ever fought before, and I mean any enemy. They will kill their own children to kill you. They are dedicated to killing us. That is what they want, and I know that sounds harsh, but that is a reality of life, and we better acknowledge that. And if we can't meet that commitment with commitment, then we're going the wrong direction. We're going really the wrong direction.
And you're not going to beat them by holding their hand.
No, you're not. You're not going to beat them by holding their hand. It sounds really, really harsh to say, but hit first and hit hard.
My daughter.
That's how battles are won. That's how fights are won. It's not won by apologizing to each other, I promise you. That didn't work for Neville Chamberlain.
My daughter's a Marine combat veteran from outside.
Except
She's
for Buzz.
currently a senior at West Point. So, yes.
Is that all she's done for the military?
So far. And,
Tell her to pitch in.
yeah. So it's like, yes, if any person that honestly believes that we can negotiate with the Taliban and that if we leave, they'll behave, is not a very good judge of history.
Well, a lot of that comes with wishful thinking.
Yes.
A lot of it's the, hey, it's all our fault, and that plays into the America stinks crowd, which
Yeah.
are liberals. It's all our fault, America's awful. If we just didn't stink so bad, there wouldn't be terrorism. But as Reagan said, of all the wars that came about, none came about because America was too strong.
What if Kennedy backed down when we went to Cuba in '62?
What happened over there? Kennedy would never stand for this. You want to talk about Democrats? FDR, for all the disagreements I may have with his policies, would never have stood for this, ever. He would have stood in front of West Point and said, we're going to go kick some tail.
Exactly.
No
Turned into a world of wusses over there.
Well, I mean, the beauty of it is, it's not the troops that have turned into that, it's just the politicians. We'll get out of there. The troops are raring to go. Did you see the recruitment lines the day after 9/11?
Yeah.
I mean, it was amazing. I was actually in the Marines when 9/11 happened. You wouldn't have believed the crop of new Marines that came in afterwards. They were ready to rock and roll. We still love this country.
I go back tomorrow like this.
Yes, sir. I believe we would. Anyone else?
And don't be denigrated for having the guts to say what you said, we'll rock and roll, or we'll kick butt, because that's not nice. It's all about appearances, how you look, how you sound, and not what you're saying underneath it all. What Gabrielle Gifford said is, I will not do this unless there's tort reform, and she said it in a very nice manner, and I have nothing against the woman, but I just think I'm tired of these very appealing, very attractive people saying things that don't make sense and that just defy reason. And it's only because of policy, or they're not having the courage to stand up to the people who don't make sense.
You talk about a personal thing against Gabrielle Giffords. I don't have a personal thing against her either. What I have a problem with is 4 years of failure. I have a problem with spending $5 trillion, leaving the border unsecure, and lying to our face. That's what I have a problem with. And now, even on television, she's lying right to the lie, right off the bat. There was not even an effort to talk about her record or her policies or anything. Just boom, started lying right off the bat. Is that what we have in politics today? I think that's disgraceful. So she's going to lose because of that. She is, and she deserves that. So, but hey, with a $400 trip to Copenhagen, I guess she can. There's some cheap airfare out there somewhere that she knows about.
So you mean she's not running on the fact she voted for Captain Trade?
No, I haven't heard that yet. I haven't heard on her running that she bailed out Wall Street, that she cut $500 billion for Medicare, that she voted for the stimulus bill, that she voted for cap and trade, that she voted for Nancy Pelosi's budget, and that she voted for Nancy Pelosi to be Speaker of the House. I haven't heard any of those in her ads. Maybe I just haven't seen it yet.
Don't forget card check.
Oh, that's right, card check. And by the way, should she be reelected, which she won't, her first vote would be for Nancy Pelosi to be Speaker of the House.
Yeah.
That may be her worst.
So how does she make up this lie about you and the 23% tax on everything? Where did all that come from?
How did she make it up?
Yeah.
Well, $2 million and no shame is all you need. It's just a flat lie. I'm a 10% flat tax guy. Really, everybody knows that. I've said I would support the fair tax, which is infinitely better than what we have now, although I'm a flat tax guy. I just say the fair tax is better than what we have now. And the fair tax is simply the elimination of every single federal tax there is. It even eliminates the IRS and replaces it with a you get your entire paycheck. And it replaces it with a 23% consumption tax on new goods and services, which you actually wouldn't see the cost of goods and services go up because you're already paying about a 23% increase in the cost of your goods and services with our current taxes. So you would see nothing except the elimination of the IRS and your whole paycheck. What an awful concept. So instead she took that and just blatantly lies on the commercial. Now, actually in her defense, I can't say that. She's either lying or she doesn't know anything about the fair tax. So it could be B.